What's going on, beautiful people? I have a question for you, and that is, when was the last time that you started following somebody randomly? Just by happen chance. Is it happenstance, happen chance? I don't know what the saying is, but you know what I'm talking about. Accidentally, just pure accident, you start following somebody, and you fall in love with them. Not literally, unless you just, are cool like that. Maybe you happen to actually have that happen to you. If you have, put a comment down below. Today, I am talking about an actress by the name of Angel Giuffria, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but she is a actress. She was in Hunger Games Mockingjay, and she has a limb difference. And I absolutely admire the hell out of this woman. I love her to pieces, respect her. If she sees this, I'm gonna freak out. But let me tell you something. When you grow up like I did, in a world where you don't have a lot of people saying, oh, well, this actress, that actress, you should look up to this or that, or this woman, generally speaking. It's like we point to all these different people and, our children's lives based off of how we perceive our children. So when our children, turn around and pull out the, hey, I'm not exactly what you thought card, that can throw things for a little bit of a different loop. But anyways, I early on, like in my oh good lord, how long ago was this? Like 4 years ago, maybe 5. So I'm like 17 or 16, and I'm trying to make a character for FiveM that has a limb difference. So naturally, I'm trying to figure out, how does this actually work? How do these people actually feel? What is their day-to-day like? What's some of the reasons that, in particular, I wanted to know that they might call 911, because that's what a lot of FiveM roleplay is based around, of how can I make calls for law enforcement and or fire. And, yeah, I came up with a random character. I honestly don't even remember her name, but a lot of you all know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have been around for the channel since, 2021, will know exactly who I'm talking about. And, yeah, I made that character because of Angel. And she's just truly been an inspiration. And I just want you to take a minute to listen to something that she has to say about her day-to-day life, and just listen to the significance that these little things that we take for granted, honestly, people with 2 hands, frankly.
Angel, you were actually born without your left arm, and you started wearing a myoelectric prosthetic when you were just 4 months old. But today you're among the first to wear the B-Bionic 3 hand. It's actually a muscle control prosthetic. How has this bionic hand changed your life?
This hand has been amazing. I first received it in March, and since then, the list of things that I've been able to do has been crazy. I've been wearing a myoelectric hand, a simple bionic hand, for a very long time, and it allowed me to go through my life and live it in a way that I would do without not being able to have one hand. But with this hand, it has made everything easier. There were things that I knew how to do, but then when I got this hand, I became better at it.
Like what example?
Some of the girly things you can think of are like curling my hair, where I can like hold a curling iron and curl my hair, paint my nails, which is really cool, tying your shoes, like a simple task. Another really simple one that, when I realized I could do this, was so exciting for me: pull my rolling suitcase through the airport while checking my phone for the time was a huge deal, because otherwise you have to step out of the way of traffic and look at your phone and get out of the way of everything. And it just makes some simple daily living tasks so much more manageable.
Do you feel like directors are looking at you in a different way now?
Yes. So my old hand that I used to wear outside of the myoelectric for film, I wore something called a cosmetic prosthesis. A cosmetic prosthesis, it's a passive, so literally no function, no movement, but it looks very real. So I would go into auditions as a 2-handed person, because I thought that my missing arm was going to hinder whether they chose me or not. And then there were the occasional parts where I would go in for an amputee where I wouldn't wear any prosthesis at all. But when I got this hand, I started to be excited about going in wearing this hand. And I've actually been able to book some roles that had to do with just my prosthesis. In March of this year, right after I got the arm, I booked a small role in a Ben Affleck film that comes out in October of this year, where I got to wear the arm, which was really exciting.
That is very exciting. And I think, Angel, Dan has a question also here for you.
In fact, I have a couple of questions, Angel. One is, do you think this technology will be soon available to everyone? And second, what's the future of bionics according to you?
The technology is actually available, but the problem is the cost. It's very difficult for people to afford this technology. In the US, we're having a difficult time with our insurance getting people to cover it. They told me when I first requested this arm through my insurance that it wasn't of medical necessity. I didn't need it. And that to me was almost like hurtful. You don't need a second hand. They said we're only required to give you the most basic of function. And it's like, well, isn't the most basic of function two hands? That's what most people have. So it's been an uphill battle trying to make this readily accessible for most people. But the Bionic hand is actually at a really great price point in comparison to some of the other bionic hands that are on the market. So I feel with time and with mass production and different things, when the investments and technologies, the hand will be able to be cheaper and much more affordable to the everyday person.
And I kind of just want to wrap it up in a little bow and just leave you guys with a bit of a short one, bit of a sweet one. Just kind of some girl power energy and just talk about an amazing person who is honestly just slay queen. I don't even say that often, but just slay. There's nobody I know with more positive energy, who was just more enthusiastic, and a bigger advocate for just people with differences generally. I don't want to say disabilities, because disability sounds like they're not able, and I wonder if that's maybe why the word limb difference is even used. But, navigating that world can be hard, and admittedly, I want to talk about this as little as possible because I'm scared of saying the wrong thing, but I truly just wanted to take a minute to give Angel her flowers, because frankly, I think it's insightful, learning from her life. And here's why. She has an abundance of confidence, which is really just infectious, and you have to be confident in this world to survive. There's going to come some times in your life where you really just truly don't know the answer and you don't know how to do whatever it is you have to do, but you have to just be confident and say, I have a rough idea and I'm just going to do it. Because sometimes it's the only way to get through and just to get to your goal. You also have to have happiness. You can never let anyone steal your joy. Don't ever let anybody put you down or say that you shouldn't be happy. And inversely, never let somebody tell you that it's not right for you to be sad. They're your feelings and you are absolutely entitled to feel how you want to feel. You can, think about why they may have happened later, try to figure out the causation of all of that. But it's okay, especially in a private setting, but generally just to feel your feelings. That's perfectly okay. And I love that she feels her happiness wholly. She doesn't let the problems she faces define her. She moves on like a champ. And finally, turning your flaws into features is a very unique and useful superpower. You have to be able to say, you know what? I am different. And that's okay, because it gives me a completely different perspective that helps me look at the world a little bit differently. Maybe I'm a little bit more grateful, and it's just so many things that I can relate to in a lot of ways, because I'm just gonna, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, keep it in a buck. There's some times where it's like, you know what? I understand how women think. I understand how men think. There's certain things that, plus sides to being in my position. And I'm grateful to God that, despite the challenges it has me face, that I have wisdom, I have knowledge, I have experiences that I might not have had. So that's just some food for thought for the day. I hope that it helps you, blesses you, and just be kind to somebody, even if you don't know them.